Hello everybody and welcome back to the Overlap Breakdown channel. I'm Harrison, the host analyst here at the Overlap, and we are here today to discuss Andoni Iraola's first game at Liverpool and as Liverpool manager competitively, and to talk about what we've actually made of it. There was a lot of negativity that was going around yesterday, a lot of quite good analysis actually placed on Liverpool in terms of what they were doing on the ball, what they were doing off the ball, some of the goals they conceded, some of the chances they conceded last night against Newcastle. And to be honest, we're here to kind of encapsulate all that and give you our honest answer of what do they need to fix both in the market but also on the training pitch. And was it actually that bad? Was it something that maybe Liverpool actually were the better team in the game? So before we get into this, thank you very much for watching as always, and if you do enjoy the pieces, please do not forget to subscribe to the Overlap Breakdown channel. It helps us out so much, and yeah, that 100k mark is getting really scarily in sight. So yeah, thank you for all your support. So straight away, the one thing I want to talk about is what Liverpool were trying to do on the ball. Now, they used a 4-3-3 in this game, and obviously Andoni Iraola has used 4-3-3 and 4-2-3-1 at Bournemouth. But this was a little bit of a different 4-3-3 in the sense that Ryan Gravenberch was actually being played as the natural number 6 on his own. So it meant when they were in build-up, Szoboszlai would drop down the side, Florian Wirtz would maybe stay a bit higher with Isak. But then once the ball was actually moved up into the next phase of play, it was Florian Wirtz, Dominik Szoboszlai as split 8s, Ryan Gravenberch actually playing as the 6, but still being given a lot of freedom to move on the ball. Now, straight away when I saw the lineup come out, I thought it was one of the most attacking lineups I've actually seen from Liverpool or from any team in the Premier League. I think the general dynamics from the fullbacks is that they both want to attack high, deep into the opposition's half. The midfield was very attacking. Even Ryan Gravenberch, who was played as a number 6, is not a number 6, especially on his own. So yeah, I thought it meant for a little bit of a weird dynamic throughout the game in the midfield. And obviously, I've got a quote from Andoni Iraola to talk you through the first goal Liverpool actually conceded in the game. I don't think it's just because of the personnel. I understand you are telling me that basically Ryan Gravenberch is the 6 and he's on the edge of the box. But if he shoots and scores, we are like, wow, what a play from Gravenberch. I don't want to take that away from his game, but we have to adapt to this as a team, to these situations. And we know when these situations happen, and I think the second goal we dealt with better in terms of having numbers to defend. We don't make the foul, we don't make the challenge. It's something we have to correct between a lot of players. So if I actually show you on the screen right now what this looks like, when the game started for Liverpool, the first thing, when I sat down to watch it again this morning, the very first kickoff that Liverpool played in the game against Newcastle, I'm going to put it on your screen right now. It's Alexander Isak passed backwards to Ryan Gravenberch, and all forward 5 players then run into Newcastle's half. Now, usually, so I'm as if I'm going to show you on the board like this. Okay, so Alexander Isak from kickoff has moved the ball back to Ryan Gravenberch like this. The front 5 have all absolutely charged into the space like this ahead of the ball. Okay. Ryan Gravenberch then looks to drop the shoulder, and literally in this situation, you can imagine a Liverpool player just rolls it past the defender, rolls it to the fullback, they start building up, or they even go long as most teams do. Ryan Gravenberch checks out his left shoulder, looks to go backwards, and then he actually thinks, no, straight from kickoff, I'm going to try and run through Newcastle. Tries to take it past Newcastle's first 2, then tries to play it right between the lines. It's one from a Newcastle player, and already in this picture, you can see right here, William Osula right into Liverpool's half on transition within the first 5 seconds of the game. Newcastle then win a free kick from that, and the problems already have emerged in terms of the out of possession, in terms of the platforming of this midfield. Now, for the goal that Liverpool actually conceded through Anthony Elanga, it became a little bit more extreme in terms of what Liverpool were trying to do. So in the 3rd minute, we can see now Liverpool have got the ball in build-up. We've got that same exact situation on the screen where Dominik Szoboszlai, Florian Wirtz are a little bit higher than Ryan Gravenberch. But if you look at Ryan Gravenberch's position and what he's trying to do for this goal for Newcastle, he's trying to move behind that first line. He's not got the positional sense of a number 6 who's going to play in between. So if I just show you what it looks like on your screen when I move everyone forward and we put Newcastle into their 4-4-2 as they were defended. So if I put the 2 8s like this and 2 wingers high, Ryan Gravenberch in a natural number 6 position, fullbacks very, very high, very, very wide. This is something that they're obviously going to have to address in the next few weeks. But what Ryan Gravenberch is trying to do is, on this example, when Frimponga's got the ball and they're trying to shield, Ryan Gravenberch is not coming and standing in here or trying to get the ball out here or move to the back line. He's actually looking to get behind the shadow of the winger and the strikers to receive inside of Newcastle's block. So when that ball comes around, they are looking to fire the ball right through it and take out this line. Now, when the ball is actually done, when the ball is moved and actually placed into Newcastle's structure, what would you expect Ryan Gravenberch to do? He's not going to maybe look for Isak, maybe look for Wirtz, maybe look for Szoboszlai in between the lines, maybe find a winger. His idea, naturally, as a player in his mind, is to carry the ball and run with the ball through into the opposition's penalty area. And as Iraola said, when he goes and does this, he moves the ball really, really well towards Newcastle's box. Massive bit of space opens up, and you think, really, that Ryan Gravenberch should shoot from this. And if he shouldn't shoot, then at least the pass that follows has to be of a good weight and good execution. Neither of these things happen. His actions after these carries, both on the Newcastle kickoff example and this one, they're just too loose. For the second one, even more strange because he tries to do some strange flick when he actually pushes up in the same example. Newcastle win the ball and then they transition through absolutely huge amount of space that's left behind Liverpool's back line, behind their midfield. So you can imagine if the ball is turned over in this space, Newcastle have then got Anthony Elanga, Harvey Barnes, Asula, Visser, all running deep. And with Liverpool's back four a little bit more narrow like this, you can already see how much joy Newcastle can actually get from a situation like that. So straight away, I do think there are immediate concerns in terms of what Liverpool need to be doing when they are moving on the ball with their midfield three. The dynamics need to be a bit different, obviously. I will say this, though. I didn't think that Liverpool were absolutely shocking in this game. I really didn't. And I'm going to go on later to speak about what I actually made of them on the ball, what they were doing on the ball that I really did quite enjoy. But I think these dynamics that they have in midfield are quite easily fixable. I think you could go to a 4-2-3-1. I think you could put Ryan Gravenberch with someone else in there, maybe Inonye or McAllister, someone like that, to balance it out so Ryan Gravenberch can still go forward on the ball with the ball at his feet and he can play next to a bit more of a ball player, a bit more of a passer. He could also move Dominic Szoboszlai to right back because Frimpong in this game was not good enough, both on and off the ball, overlapping down the sides. Even when he comes into these spaces, Dominic Szoboszlai was often playing in here as the right central midfielder. You could get that same dynamic from right back and still have Jeremy Jacquet on the other side of the ball, who's a really good wide channel defender. So there are solutions for me that when I look at Liverpool, you can see already. Now, I've got some data to show you on your screen just to emphasise these problems around this newer Liverpool approach under Andoni Iraola. So, Newcastle attacking third in the game against Liverpool yesterday. We can see that 40% and 39% of their attacks in totality come down the wide sides. They virtually wasn't attacking through the centre at all. So, we're talking about taking advantage of them higher positions from them full-backs to create them double width moments that Iraola likes. So when the ball actually comes out here, they were often looking at times for Frimpong, Rio, and on the other side, it was Gakpo and Kerkez to combine. And that often means that when they go really far forward, there's so much space down either side. The problem is with these two players is they turn over the ball a lot because they're just not clean enough on the outside. So I do think that Liverpool straight away need to improve in fullback and in central midfield. So for me, they are not good enough to do what Iraola wants long term. I think they're just not clean enough. The amount of times I was watching Kerkez and Frimpong either hit the first man or make the wrong decision when they get into the box or make the wrong decision around the box or get bullied when the ball comes the other way. I was thinking that for me, Iraola needs them fullbacks who are really, really competitive, really good at understanding when to attack, when to go deep. And I just think the balance with Rio on the right, Frimpong on the right as well, just don't think it looked good. When they transitioned down the left, I thought they got bullied quite a lot from Lewis Hall, especially who was making long runs. So that needs to be worked on. The midfield needs to be worked on. But quite interestingly, even though Ryan Gravenberch actually played as the number 6 in this game, if I throw up the heat map from Ryan Gravenberch, you can see his heat map is actually like the blue part of it is just touching the edge of the box, the D on the edge of the box. Now, if I go on to show you Florian Wirtz's touch map and Dominic Szoboszlai's touch map, we can actually see that them two have not actually got a more higher average position than Ryan Gravenberch, showing that the balance in there is a little bit off. But why were Liverpool actually looking to use Ryan Gravenberch in this sense? Well, This is where I'm going to go on to talk about why I didn't think Liverpool were that bad on the ball. And this is all to do with the centre midfielders rotating a little bit higher ahead of the play. So this is in the first minute for Liverpool, and this is a really good example. So we can see here the back four's building as we need it to be. Frimpong, Kirkes a little bit deeper. We can see how far Ryan Gravenberch is actually away from the build-up straight away when Jacket's got the ball at his feet. He comes nearer to the ball, and Wirtz has actually dropped in. So Wirtz has gone a little bit more. Say this is the build-up, like this. Wirtz has been the one to drop down and come and get the ball from here. So that attracts the back that attracts the back pressure. So it comes through right now, loads of back pressure on Wirtz's back. It gives the ball back to Jacket, and in the time that pass happens, Ryan Gravenberch has actually spun off the side of Newcastle's midfield, shows in front like this, gets the ball between the centre of the pitch, and Liverpool then can transition through the pitch very fast. Ryan Gravenberch, Florian Wirtz connects. The ball is then worked out to the left. It ends up in a really good chance of Florian Wirtz at the end. But Cody Gakpo actually receives it on the left-hand side, getting an overlap from Kirkes. If I can imagine this is a little bit more of a better left-back and Gakpo is more inclined to take the option, then straight away this could turn into a massive, massive chance for Liverpool. Now, this isn't the only time it had happened either. The centre mids rotating high was something that was seen throughout the game. This is why often Gravenberch, Szoboszlai and Wirtz were getting caught ahead of the ball. So this is what Iraola wants. He knows the gap from between the central midfield to the defence is too much. The centre-backs maybe need to squeeze a little bit more, but this is mostly an actual instruction, or at least something that Iraola's playing on. The centre mid's rotating high. Again, we can see it here. The throw-in comes in. Szoboszlai is now the one dropping deep, but Ryan Gravenberch is once again behind and inside the opposition's block. Frimpong finds him. The transition through the pitch. Again, Ryan Gravenberch into Florian Wirtz, comes down the left-hand side, and it ends up in a good shot for Cody Gakpo on this occasion, where they've got three players on the left-hand side. So this, for me, is something that I do think could actually work. I do think this could actually work at Liverpool. I think their ability to get behind the opposition's midfield in this game was quite encouraging at times. I do think the transition weakness is a real bad worry because I don't think this is something that structurally you can mask over, because the legs in midfield and the actual profiles in midfield simply just aren't suited for it enough. But I do think there are certain things that I saw on the ball for Liverpool that are really encouraging, and it's this receiving ahead of play and creating these. There was a clip where it come over to Iraola on Sky Sports, and he was going like that, and he basically telling the players to pass through the lines, punch it through the lines. The two examples I've just shown you are really good examples of Liverpool actually using that midfield to be fluid in the sense of when they've been caught out, but to create chances from them. And I don't think Liverpool are going to face a greater transition, counter-attacking threat this season than Alanga, Barnes, Asula, and Visser at St James's Park when they're not going to have the ball. I think that's one of the hardest teams to go up and play against. And we know that Iraola at this time in his coaching career at Liverpool, Semenyo's talked about it. He's even said it himself. The players aren't 100% sharp and ready to play this style of football. He knows it's going to take a little bit more time. So there is a lot to go off. There is a lot to understand, but I do think there are positives within this performance, because I was seeing a lot of Liverpool fans come out of the game yesterday going, we look like we could get ripped up on counter-attacks. It looks like the transitions, looks like the full-backs are really bad. Yes, all them things, but then if I look at it from what Liverpool were able to create on the ball when they actually wanted to control the game, it looked quite promising at times. And you can see it for the Cody Gakpo goal, because they had 15 minutes after the restart where they genuinely took the game to Newcastle and they looked like a proper territorial, dominant, controlling team, which is what everyone's saying Liverpool potentially aren't. So I want to show you that example just before we wrap up. So Liverpool are bringing the ball out from the back, 53 minutes in, they're 1-0 down, they're against a mid-block, maybe even a lower block. How do they go about getting inside that block? How do they go about attacking this block? This has been the problem in theory for Iraola. So Van Dijk steps out on the ball. He then knocks it right into Florian Wirtz. Now, if you look at the picture on your screen right now, Florian Wirtz, Dominic Szoboszlai, Ryan Gravenberch are in really, really close proximity. But Kirkes, the nearest fullback to the camera, is actually letting Cody Gakpo go and stand in the midfield. Now, if you look at this, when a team goes man-to-man, look at the space that's behind Newcastle's midfielders and ahead of Liverpool's midfielders. When they've dropped back in, they're looking for a player in between the lines of the defensive line and the midfield line to receive in there and cause problems. Florian Wirtz then receives it after this scuffle in the middle, gets it through to Cody Gakpo. Look at how much space Liverpool have now created through that movement of their midfielders in the pitch. Cody Gakpo runs forward with the ball. It comes out to Frimpong, who crosses it in. Liverpool can then push up the pitch with their centre-halves. Very high, very wide. Counter pressures, we're talking about sustaining pressure over teams for long periods of time. The centre-halves are really, really aggressive. They've actually stepped up in this occasion. The ball comes back the other way, and Liverpool can actually go again with the ball. I know this is a long example, just give me a minute. Now we're looking at a team, they're outside the block again. They're against another deep block. Dominic Szoboszlai is now rotated out wide. If you look at Cody Gakpo in between the lines throughout these screenshots, this is the player who's about to score the goal. In the last 20, 30 seconds, Cody Gakpo has just got in behind Newcastle's midfield, caused numerous amounts of problems. He does it again. Dominic Szoboszlai passes it through to Ryan Gravenberch, and then look at Lewis Hall, look at Stur's body language. Everyone's pointing at Cody Gakpo. Go and get on him, but no one knows whose man it is because Liverpool have managed to rotate in midfield this much, with this much, fluid rotation in there, with Szoboszlai dropping out to the side here, with Gravenberch coming standing here. Cody Gakpo's going to look for the ball right in the narrow position, so these sided players actually aren't going to follow all the way over and cross sides on the pitch because Kerkez is now pinning out wide. So you actually do get to see these patterns of play. Gakpo receives it in there, and this is the goal that actually forces the 1-1. So for me, I think Liverpool on the ball were actually quite encouraging. I thought it was individual mistakes for the most part from Ryan Gravenberch, especially for the first and second goal, more so for the second goal. But I genuinely thought that on the ball I was seeing pretty nice, slick moves. And to be honest, I know there's a lot of meltdown going on with Liverpool's fan base, but I think some of the things that are being critiqued are majorly personnel issues. The high pressing structure was okay from Iraola. I did think they let the keeper have the ball a little bit too much, but I think that will come. I liked what they were doing on the ball. They actually had territory, possession. They boxed them in. They had sequences of 10, 20 plus passes getting inside the blocks, as we've just shown you there 2 times in a minute for Cody Gakpo's goal. So there's a lot going on in the midfield in terms of the actual coverage of space. There's a lot being asked of them, and I think Liverpool maybe need 1, if not 2 in there. And I'm not sure how many in-house options they've got to really, hone in and make that stick. So, yeah, that's going to be it for today. I think if I had one thing to say in terms of what Liverpool should probably try, I think I'd put Trey and Gravenberch as the 2 in midfield. I'd move Dominic Szoboszlai to right back. He won't play as a right back. He will come inside because I've seen Frimpong do it as well when they were on the ball. Keep Wirtz behind Isak and try and work with that right-hand side and get a right winger, someone who's going to be attacking constantly down the byline, coming inside on the left foot, creating chances, slipping balls in, back post crosses, because Rio yesterday didn't really look natural over there. But I think if you had like an Mbaye, Szoboszlai 2-man on this side of the pitch with this right-hand side, with that 2 in there, I think that would look okay. I think that would look a lot better. So, yeah, I think it all comes down to the personnel, what Liverpool are going to do in the market. But there are a lot of questions and actually some pretty interesting tactics from Iraola, because it was a kind of a team I wanted to see on the Premier League stage the most out of all of them. The one that I've come away from going, this is probably the most interesting in terms of what they're trying to do, what they need. Can they make it happen? 3 games a week to come, of course. So, yeah. Let us know what you've made of Iraola's first game as Liverpool boss, and we'll see you next week on the Overlap Breakdown channel. So please do not forget to like, comment and subscribe. We'll see you next time.
This has been a Global and the Overlap production.